We're live from Canyon Camp, 60 miles west of the Oklahoma City Zoo. It's Saturday night CJAMM. We have some laughs, we have some serious and rewarding stories that started as doom and gloom, but ended with God's healing and some serious guidance for a new direction, a new future built on a new foundation. We have some talent and we have some no talent, but we have a lot of good, clean fun tonight. And we have some great hosts for Saturday Night CJAMM. Let's hear from them now.
I'm David Rethner, and I am the site manager at Wholesale.
And I am the assistant director of CJAMM.
I'm Christy Johnson. I'm the department sponsor for Exodus House, Oklahoma City. I'm Kelly Monquist, and I am one of the counselor group facilitators in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Kristen Terrell Wilson, I'm the office assistant and the New Day Camp coordinator.
I'm Robin Burke, and I'm the site director for Oklahoma City.
And we're
Saturday Night CJAMM!
Ladies and gentlemen of Saturday Night CJAMM, I would like to introduce our first contestant of the night. This is the most influential woman of recovery that I know. Miss Robin Wirtz. And Miss Robin Wirtz, have you always been so influential?
No. I've always been bossy, but I've not always been influential. I am a Baptist preacher's daughter, but I had to go to prison to become a Methodist. And so here I am, that and the food. Any of my crew want to come up and join me? Is it a part of this round? Just do. Any of you want to come up and join me? You'll get it when we go. Come on, you're part of it. Come on. Okay, here's a story of a red-headed lady who ran a place they called the Exodus House. It was full of men and women coming out of prison, looking for a second chance when they got out. Here's a story of a man named Joshua and David. We both signed to join our crazy crowd. Our community's full of love and sometimes chaos, and that we're sure of. There is no doubt. And one day our boss keeps out a light bulb moment. You can probably still be crazy, not true. That our houses would gather all together and form a family we all call the CJAMM Bunch. The CJAMM Bunch, the CJAMM Bunch. We are all called the CJAMM Bunch.
New Day Camp is a special part of the ministries at CJAMM. We are so appreciative of those who sponsor children to go to camp. Here's a clip from New Day Camp this summer of children having fun, learning some social and life skills, and even getting to talk through some of the challenges they face with everyday life, such as bullying, isolation, hunger, survival.
Our next contestants are children of Exodus House residents. And go ahead and state your name for us.
I'm Aspen, I'm Freddie's daughter.
And I'm Harley, I'm Marissa's daughter.
And what are you ladies going to do for us this evening?
We're gonna be singing.
Is it a cappella?
Yeah.
Okay, well let's welcome our next contestant.
Oh, it's love, so undeniable. I can hardly speak. Peace, so unexplainable. I can hardly think as you call me. Deeper still as you call me. Deeper still as you call me. Deeper still into love. Love, love, you're a good, good Father. It's who you are. It's who you are. It's who you are, and I'm loved by you. It's who I am. It's who I am. It's who I am, and you're a good, good Father. It's who you are. It's who you are. It's who you are, and I'm loved by you. It's who I am. It's who I am. It's who I am.
Still another way that CJAMM is touching lives is through our involvement with the Redemption Mission and Church. Inmates are able to worship with us and get a special blessing from participation in church services. Here's a couple of shots that show how we are touching lives.
Our next contestant is Sydney Christopher. Sydney, share with the audience, how did you hear about the Exodus House?
Well, I've heard about the Exodus House through my case manager. He said he knew a wonderful woman named Robin, and he said that he thought that I would be a good fit there. And I finally got to talk to her, and I stalked her for over a year. And I got to call him as Robin. I mean, I didn't ever want to go nowhere else. When I heard the Exodus House, I want to go with her. And I met her at church, and I've been hers ever since.
And what are you going to do for us today?
I just got a poem. That's all. So.
Thank you.
If I can find it. You said there was no beauty within you. You were a candle devoid of a spark. So you set all your feelings on fire in the hopes it would light up your dark. You said there was no beauty within you. You were an ocean whose depths had run dry. So you filled all the cracks in your laughter with the flood of the tears you would cry. And I wish that the beauty within you hadn't caused you to view life with doubt, because you said that there was no beauty within, but there's surely no beauty without.
Sometimes we say we are farmers, planting seeds, seeds of love, kindness, healing, forgiveness, acceptance, hope, and even a future. We never know exactly when and how they will grow and be harvested. We continually solicit your prayers for sunshine and nutrients for those seeds that they will grow at and in all the appropriate places. Now let's hear from our CJAMM Board Chairman, Scott Davis.
Almost 30 years ago, Reverend Dr. Stan Bassler had the vision for this amazing ministry. He's an advocate, minister, educator, speaker, fundraiser, attorney, friend, connector, motivator. All-around good guy. Anyone who's named with the Stan Bassler Award is certainly high caliber with CJAMM. Here's Reverend Dr. Bassler to introduce this year's recipients.
Well, it's my honor to introduce you to this year's recipients of the Stan Bassler Award. Join me in honoring David and Kay Wolf. The Wolfs have a special spot in their heart for Exodus House Tulsa, and especially this apartment, Apartment K. The Wolfs have a beloved, or a love beyond just Exodus House for our ministry. I understand they recently served on a committee to do a complete inspection of Exodus House and offer recommendations on capital improvements and repairs that need to be made. It's obvious that both of you share a love for this ministry. I'd love to get a little better acquainted with you and ask some questions so our CJAMM family can be better acquainted with you also. How did it all start? How did you become acquainted with Exodus House in the first place?
Kay and I have been involved in ministry to the homeless for a long time, and when we retired, we decided our retirement focus would be ministry to the homeless. I went on the walk to Emmaus looking for confirmation that that was the direction we should head in, and was the number 2 person sent to my table, and I go over and the young man there introduces himself and tells me he's just been out of prison for 2 weeks. And this is a totally new experience for me.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah. He was a resident at the parsonage. And turns out another person at our table had been incarcerated before and was currently homeless. So shortly after I came back from the walk to Emmaus, the 2 couples from our church that were managing this apartment for our church announced that because of health reasons due to age, they just weren't able to do it anymore. And so Kay and I talked about it and decided, you know, I think we're supposed to be involved in this.
That's great.
And we got involved and have met a number of the residents over the several years that we've been involved in it, and are proud and honored to be part of it.
Well, that's a great testimony.
Because people that come out of prison are homeless.
Yes. Right.
Yes.
Well, tell us about your church connection and being representatives from Christ United Methodist Church, if that wasn't answered, and say a little more about that.
Well, Christ United Methodist has sponsored Apartment K for a long time.
Okay.
In fact, I think we're maybe the 3rd set of people to be in charge of it. So yes, our congregation has a long history of being involved both with CJAMM and Apartment K at Exodus House.
Have you had a sort of special experience with one of the residents of this apartment?
Well, we became good friends with the young man that was in the parsonage, and we are friends with Kristen Brooks, the most recent graduate of the Exodus House program and resident of this apartment. We still have dinner with her. We try to about once a month, but moving my mother here and COVID kind of got in the way, so we're a little bit behind. But yeah, we still talk to her.
Have you been involved in other ways with criminal justice or prison ministries or reentry before this?
No, this was a whole new world to us. Yeah, I had a friend at our church that got arrested and put in Tulsa County Jail, and I went down to visit him, and that was my sole interaction with felons or people who had been incarcerated until Exodus House. So God has really laid a big one on us.
Right.
You hear some really wild stories.
Yeah. Nobody that comes to Exodus House has fond memories of growing up. Yeah. It breaks our hearts, but we are so thankful that Exodus House exists to provide a safe haven for these people for 6 months and sometimes a little bit even beyond that. So it's just, we're just so proud to be part of something that touches people's lives like this does.
Right. What would you say is your biggest blessing being involved with this ministry?
Oh, the smiles on our 2 friends' faces when we go out to dinner and find out how things are going in their lives.
Great. What advice would you give to somebody who's looking for a spot to really make a difference in ministry?
Certainly CJAMM and Exodus House are a great place to be involved. Exodus House has a lot of needs that go beyond the usual financial needs. The people that live here need friends who don't come from the same background they did. They need not mentors, but we think of ourselves as the Timothys, or the Barnabases, we're the encouragers. Our job is to be the cheerleader for the person that we're sponsoring, to encourage them and just help them understand that, yeah, if you make it through this program and you graduate, that's a huge accomplishment. When we first got involved, we got a copy of the rules and read them, and I'm sorry, I couldn't live here. No, this is a tough program to get through, especially if you come with a lot of the backgrounds that these people come with. And so to just come to Exodus House events like the reunion, the Christmas party, and anytime there's a graduation, even if it's not someone you sponsor, come, be involved, let them see your face, walk around the tables and introduce yourself. They're open and they're friendly people.
Well, as the grandpa or whatever I am of this ministry, yeah, from the beginning to this day, one of the points of pride that I've had is I think it's the Cadillac of this kind of ministry.
Absolutely.
To have staff that live on center, to have not a very large group of people. Most of the people that we work with have a barrel full of problems, and they've had them for a long time. And it takes involvement, intensive staff involvement to help people move from those situations. So I am thankful personally of your involvement in what I still consider the Cadillac of reentry ministry. When you talked about the importance of it, my original colleague with Redemption Church, we brought people to church who were in low-level correctional settings. There are no settings like that left in Tulsa. There's only 3 or 4 of them in Oklahoma. But even with that, he and I observed that it was still a giant transition from some structure to no structure.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that Exodus House was necessary for many people as another transitional step.
Absolutely.
And so we believed many, many years ago in the importance of this mission. And
we're just thankful that you did believe in it and started it. Because it's an amazing ministry, and we are just so proud to be part of it.
Well, I'm proud of you too, and thankful for you. And when we talk about the children, what we used to always say, these are the forgotten victims of crime.
Yeah.
And there's a sense in which re-entering prisoners are that too. And so, again, thank you and congratulations.
Thank you.
Glad for you to receive this recognition.
Oh.
Aha, oh, thank you. There, we'll do that correctly.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Stan, and thank you to David and Kay Wolf for your generosity, love, and genuine support of the Exodus House and CJAMM. You continue to be a torch for our mission and Stan's mission to break the generational cycles of incarceration and be an advocate for criminal justice.
I'm David Cowan from Texas originally, but from Tulsa, Oklahoma.
And what are you doing for us today?
I'm going to read a poem to you from, it's written by Indian chief many, many years ago, and it's just words to live by. It's called Live Your Life. Live your life. So live your life that the fear of death can never enter your heart. Trouble no one about their religion. Respect others in their view, and demand they respect yours. Love your life. Perfect your life. Beautify all things in your life. Seek to make your life long and its purpose in the service of your people. Prepare a noble death song for the day when you go over the great divide. Always give a word or sign of salute when meeting or passing a friend, even a stranger, when in a lonely place. Show respect to all people and grovel to none. When you arise in the morning, give thanks for the food and for the joy of living. If you see no reason for giving thanks, the fault lies only in yourself. Abuse no one and no thing, for abuse turns the wise ones to fools and robs the spirit of its vision. When it comes your time to die, be not like those whose hearts are filled with the fear of death, so that when their time comes, they weep and pray for a little more time to live their lives over again in a different way. Sing your death song and die like a hero going home. Chief Tecumseh.
I'm Tammy Landis from Exodus House, and where I've been.
Tell us where you've been on your life's journey.
I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere. Yeah,
Okay, so
I went from California to here, but I've been everywhere. I've been a lot of places.
how'd you hear about the Exodus House, and what are you going to do for us today?
I heard about Exodus House when I was locked up at OKCCC. I heard some girls talking about it, and so I was listening more, and so that's how I was like, I'm on it.
And what are you going to do for us today?
So I'm going to sing, and I cannot sing, but I'm going to sing Amazing by Aerosmith, the rock and roll version of Amazing Grace, in my opinion.
Okay.
So.
Great.
You have to learn to crawl before you learn to walk. But I just couldn't listen to all that righteous talk. No, no. I was out on the streets, just trying to survive. Scratching the bed. It's amazing. Oh, we're the
I've been a part of CJAMM, the Exodus Houses, Parsonage House, New Day Camps, and Redemption Missions for over 7 years. One of the things that impresses me is how many people are involved in making all this happen. Lots of people from behind the scenes. There's apartment sponsors, drivers, prayer warriors, donors, people who bake birthday cakes and prepare meals, teach crafts to children, people who drive our clients to church and read bedtime stories at New Day Camp. There are people who love this ministry. One couple who really love this ministry are Mark and Kathy Sewell. They are active members of New Covenant United Methodist in Edmond, Oklahoma, and have been volunteers at Exodus House, Oklahoma City since 2010 as apartment sponsors for apartments 8 and 13. Please celebrate Mark and Kathy Sewell as CJAMM Volunteers of the Year. How did you folks become involved in this ministry?
Well, I probably first became involved. Stan Basler came to the missions team at New Cov when I was on missions team there and talked to us about the Exodus House ministry and the overall CJAMM ministry. And I don't know how long afterwards, I kept getting this thought that you need to go serve there. And I argued. I said, God, you got the wrong person. I don't know anything about working with felons, you know. I just didn't feel like it was a right call. And he argued back and kept at me enough that I finally stepped in. And I mean, it was like after the very first time of being there, it was really obvious to me that they're not any different than you and I are. They just, different paths in life, you know. Could have been me.
Yeah.
By the grace of God, it wasn't. So that's how I got hooked in.
And I just followed her. She kept praying. I was going, well, nudge her the other way. You know, like I say, felons, okay. But we do, and we want to point out to everybody that thinks about getting involved. These people are not violent criminals at all. They are good folks. They just make bad choices.
Right.
Maybe one or two. Mm-hmm. And, you know, we all need a second chance. And to me, that's what this is about.
exactly. I was in Tulsa last month and was visiting with Virginia Gray, one of the founders, one of the beginning people. And we were talking about second chance, and she looked at me and said, really, for some of these people, this is the first chance.
True.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because when you consider where they came from,
Yeah.
and the obstacles in their life, this
Yeah.
was their first.
And they get let out of prison with nothing.
That's right.
So here they
Yeah.
have a lot.
And
Yeah.
unfortunately, that nothing, with all of the debt that's hanging over them,
Yeah.
puts them back into it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
What have been the most rewarding experiences while being an apartment sponsor?
Just watching people graduate and grow in their faith. I think a lot of them come in maybe hesitantly, wondering about all this and religion and God and all this, and a lot of them walk out really in tune.
Yeah.
Changed
Yep.
hearts.
I'd agree. And then the reunions, or even just graduations, when graduates come back to share in the glory of those that are just getting ready to venture out on their own, it's just powerful. It's just powerful.
Having that example of what can happen and seeing that in front
Yeah, a
of
real
you.
live person
That's
Exactly.
done
that did it, that was in their same boat.
They were where I was.
Exactly.
And
Same. Yeah.
now I can point toward them.
Knowing the people that now own a business and they sponsor an apartment at the Exodus House has got to just give them hope from the moment they get out.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Tell us about your special love for the flowers in the
Courtyard.
courtyard. Yeah.
Well, first of all, I just have to back up to the courtyard. Back when we first got there, it was a mud bath. It was just mud and ugly. And then a few years later, I don't know how many years after we got there, they, resurfaced it and made a nice, concrete. And then we had some spaces, and I said, well, I'm kind of a flower fairy.
That's his nickname.
And
the kids.
I see a spot for a flower too. So then we start arranging every year through our church, mainly I guess it is, volunteers to come out one Saturday, and in about 3 or 4 hours, I go buy the flowers, get them in there, and put in flowers for a couple, 3 hours, and it's just amazing what it looks like. God's nature.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was special.
That was one of the things that Keith received an email from Stan. And he said, I need to give you some history about CJAMM and what we do. And one of the things that was interesting was his comment about how the apartment house should be, because it should have a sense of community. It should look into a courtyard or have it where people can see each other and have that sense of community. And certainly your flower project helps
I think it gives
foster that.
them a sense of fulfillment and responsibility,
Yeah.
and to see what they did.
Yeah.
And watch them grow and thrive. Well, this summer was a little tough.
Yeah, that's
It
very
was.
true.
We'll
Well,
forgive this summer.
And I'd say the vast majority of them have never planted anything in the ground before. And so he teaches them how to do it, and they just beam with pride,
They are surprised, truly.
Yeah.
How does your church get behind what you're doing at Exodus House?
Well, in what ways is financially is one of the primary things, with setting up the apartments, funding for when the clients first are released and we take them to get clothes or groceries, whatever it is that they need. But as time has gone on, we've also picked up people here and there who have a passion also. And so my prayer is that our presence certainly picks up over time. And even with the monthly meals now, providing a meal once a month is giving small groups and Sunday school classes opportunity to come see what it's all about.
Right, very good.
And also the donations.
Oh, right.
The donations that our church gives.
Yeah.
Furniture and stuff.
We're the first one people call when,
Yeah.
they get in touch with us and go from
Great.
there.
What would you say to someone who's considering getting involved with Exodus House and CJAMM?
Do it.
Just do it. Just do it. It's not a commitment. Show up. See what you think.
Right.
If you don't, it doesn't work, okay.
Yeah.
Let's give it a try.
And just to know that you just come away with so much more than you ever could give. You know, every single time, even times when I'm working on putting on flooring in the apartment and would get home at midnight, that was fine by me.
Yeah.
Because you get so much more by blessing others with your time.
Absolutely. You are true examples of loving your neighbor and being disciples to all nations. Thank you for sharing your time and talents with the clients at Exodus House, Oklahoma City.
Hi. Can you tell us your name and what's your talent?
I'm Allie, and I'm going to be signing.
Okay, what are you going to be signing?
I'm going to be signing I Speak Jesus, the song.
Could you tell me, when did you realize you could have fun and even laugh and enjoy life without the use of drugs and alcohol?
Well, I know a lot of people think that prison is kind of gloomy, but I really did learn how to have fun and smile and everything in the worst of cases, and it just made it so much easier to do it anytime, any place.
Great.
I just want to speak the name of Jesus over every heart and every mind, 'cause I know there is peace within your presence. I speak Jesus. I just want to speak the name of Jesus till every dark addiction starts to break, declaring there is hope and there is freedom. I speak Jesus.
Okay, I'd like to introduce Marissa. And I want to ask you a couple questions. How long have you been clean and sober? And what's your advice for those who may be watching this show today who are new in their clean and sober journey?
Well, I've been clean and sober for 2 years, 3 months, the 8th of this month, and it has got to be something that you want to, and I'm telling you, anybody who wants this, anybody who has been struggling with addiction, who has been trying to find the right road to go down, wanting to try something new and being afraid of change, sobriety's the way to go. I'm 41 years old and I've never been happier in my life. And it doesn't take a drink or a drug to do that. I spend my time with the good Lord. He's the one that put me on this path, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Go recovery.
Tell me, how'd you hear about the Exodus House and what are you going to do for us today?
Exodus House was one of many applications that I had while I was in prison. I heard about it throughout the yard from several different people from, just all over the yard. And I'm telling you what, the good Lord directed me to Exodus House. It stayed at the top of the pile. It was the king of the mountain of applications. And God led me to Exodus House, and for good reason, because that's just where I needed to be. And I'm so happy that I don't want to leave.
What are you going to share with us or do for us today?
I'm going to attempt to sing a song to you a cappella. One that has led me through many different times in my life, some dark, some coming back into the light, and it just represents a portion of past, the present, and the future of my life. Oh, yeah. And I wonder, does it know? See, I'm down to my last dollar. Said this life of mine, it gets rough at times. And I wonder, does he know, does he even care that his family, they're safe at home, and they wonder where, as he wanders through his life, ever searching for a warm blanket of warm fields. And he wanders on, and he wonders, will he always be helped along? He said, hey, yeah, I won't never know, no. He said, hey, yeah, I won't never go back home. He said, oh, yeah, all right. I won't never go home. I want to come home. Would you let me come home? Because I want to come home. I'm gonna come home. Yeah.
This has been a great Saturday night CJAMM. Thank you for tuning in to join us. We've had the opportunity to celebrate some great victories of second chances and seeing our clients have fun without drugs and alcohol while managing addictions. We've seen families reunited. We've planted seeds of hope and a bright future with children. We've seen God's leading in life's pathway. On behalf of the Board of Directors, we'd love for you to be a part of these ministries. First and foremost, it's all about prayer. Secondly, we need volunteers at every one of our touch points, the Exodus houses, New Day camps, redemption missions, and in the continued lives of our clients once they graduate our program. And the third way, we need your financial support. There are several ways to do that, and they are posted on your screen right now. Thank you again for being part of Saturday Night CJAMM, and thank you for being a part of Touching Lives.
How does CJAMM work financially?
Well, I've heard that there's no state or federal funding whatsoever.
Are you serious? So they have to get their money from somewhere.
I mean, yes, it's all from donations, from churches, individuals, men's groups, United Women of Faith, Sunday school classes, a few foundations and corporations.
So these people must really believe in us.
Yeah, they really do. They've been doing this for over 25 years.
I think we need to really share our appreciation for the sacrifices these people are making for us to have a second life.
What do you suggest?
Well, we could say thank you, but that doesn't seem like enough. Or we could write thank you cards.
What if we all said hats off to this amazing group of supporters for their prayers, encouragement, and financial support?
I like it. Let's do it. Let's gather all our friends up here today and do it together. 1, 2, 3. Hats
off to you! Wait, don't go away yet. While at Canyon Camp for the client retreat and recording of this Talent, No Talent show, our videographers were able to capture some real crazy fun. Let's laugh our way out of this Saturday night CJAMM.